Hello, 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 Winjet community. It's Wednesday, and you know who it is. It's fucking Angelo. All right, so I wanted to unpack interviewing versus conversating, especially when it comes to podcasting and overall just understanding really good conversating and connecting with people. But this is especially great for podcasters to understand. Interviewing is what I look as a journalist lens approach to connecting with someone or having a conversation with someone. And then conversating is more of a connector's way of engaging with someone. And so interviewing oftentimes is about questions and answers and that lead to a specific outcome. So if I was interviewing a guest and focusing on the interview lens, I would ask them questions to push them and guide them is a better word, guide them into creating a story that I was trying to lead them to. Interviewing has a specific outcome. Therefore, my questions should be set up to obtain or put me in the best chance to obtain a specific story or outcome, a point of view that I am trying to get out of the interviewee, as well as this point of view or story that I am trying to create for the audience and listener. So, a lot of documentaries that we take in are often done in an interview format, right? And so what we're seeing is that we're trying to get to a specific outcome, and then the documentary is leading me to a specific outcome, a specific light, or seeing someone a certain way. So, for instance, one of the best documentaries in 2020, I really believe is inarguable, is The Last Dance, and it's also come up a year later with some of the stuff now with Scottie Pippen and what he has said about The Last Dance, which is really factual if you really think about it. Not the part where he's slandering Michael Jordan's character, yet The Last Dance being an interview that the outcome is not only to put the Chicago Bulls as the most prominent team legacy in basketball history, if not in all sports history, it's also to illuminate Michael Jordan and really put him as the pedestal and the landmark of basketball. And many people could go back and forth in that, but it's really told in a way that Michael Jordan is the hero of the Bulls and the hero and the man. And if you look at the series of questions, how the story develops, that's interviewing. That is someone telling a story or leading someone through a story or with a combination of people or one person that goes to a specific outcome, right? So anyone that was spoken to, anything that was asked, anything that led in the editing process was actually a result of getting us to look and see that the Chicago Bulls were amazing in this legendary team, and Michael Jordan was a driver and helped create this and was the hero of this legacy. He was the main component of this. And what Scottie Pippen poses a gripe about now, besides some of Michael Jordan's personal things, is how the story was told in that fashion. Well, as you could see, that's interviewing, that's journalism, is what I like to really think about it, is a place where the person that's guiding is not often personally engaged, but they're seeking a specific outcome. So you may do podcasts where you resort to that. That's your, not resort, but that's your focus. And that's great. So if you're a podcaster, know that that's how you are looking to put out a show or a series of shows, or it may be your entire style to begin with. Okay. Now, a conversationalist or conversating is what we see in Joe Rogan. His shows are not really interviews, right? They're more conversating. So the outcome of the show is very rarely known, understood, and very rarely has a clear outcome. It's just a great conversation. And this is about more of so of connecting them. So what you'll see here in this format is the goal or outcome, although it's not black and white, is to just develop a deeper connection and understanding with someone else, of someone else or a series of people. And so when you're doing a show, you have to decide which version of what are you trying to accomplish, an interview or conversating. You could do both, not at the same time, I don't believe, because one is about interviewing and nudging and leading there. Conversating is about connecting. And oftentimes, when you're connecting, that requires you to share parts of you as well. So, what we love about Joe Rogan shows is that they often are more about conversating and connecting than they are about interviewing. Yet at the same time, when he brings in such scientists and subject matter experts and things of that nature, you see Joe take on a conversation, yet oftentimes he's interviewing them. But when he brings on his comedian pals, he's more of a conversationalist, connector, things of that nature, sharing his insights, his thoughts, his inputs in hopes of connection. Now, connecting is another way of saying finding common ground with someone and also asking questions to further understand them and develop more empathy on where they are in their journeys. Now, I personally believe that it's very important to get good at both formats if you're a podcaster. If you're a human being, it may be better to focus on conversating and connecting with someone. And that's how you actually develop good friendships, genuine connections with people, because not only the outcome is searching for common ground and connection, where interviewing is based on a bias, a story, where someone is actually trying to guide you through and get to a certain specific outcome. Both, like I said, have their time and a place. Yet oftentimes what I see is people not understanding in the podcast space who they are and what they're trying to be in that moment. And then once we're able to understand what how we're supposed to or what we're doing in the conversation, am I an interviewer or a conversator? What I do and how I engage in a show or conversation will then dramatically change how I show up. Okay. So just to recap this and wrap this all up, an interview is about asking questions that lead to a specific outcome or bias, right? We're trying to make a story show itself. Last Dance was my analogy. Then a conversation, the outcome is a deeper, further connection or understanding of the other person or persons. Yet there is no bias there. There's no, the questions that we ask are there to go deeper into them and understand them. We often do more sharing when we're conversating versus interviewing. So you could see on 60 Seconds, very rarely is the guy that's asking questions talking about themselves. And this is really important to develop skills in both, I believe, in every avenue of your life. Yet, especially if you're a podcaster, getting really clear on that is super important. Now, some of you may feel more comfortable in an interviewing setting, and that's great. Stick to interviewing. Yet when you're preparing for your show or just doing your show altogether, that should be in the back of your mind. So there should be less about you, very little to none about you in an interview. Yet it should be about telling a story, being a journalist, really walking people by asking questions into a particular bias or journey that you wish for the audience to hear and see and feel and understand. A conversationalist is just there to be present, share themselves, ask questions, be inquisitive in hopes of learning from the other person, finding a common ground with them, learning from the other person, sharing things about themselves that really falls into the common ground, and then allowing just the conversation to flow where it goes and being open there. Like I said, there is no right or wrong. Both are useful. The most important thing is to understand which role that you are playing in this type of work. Because if you're not, your podcast won't have a clear message, or what you're trying to accomplish in the podcast will be misunderstood. And oftentimes, what people do is, how do you even know if you had a good podcast or not? And if it's solely based on feel, that's great. But then you're trying to most likely just be a connector. And there's nothing wrong with that. And oftentimes, those are my favorite shows. I like to connect, hear cool stories, tell jokes, get to know that person, right? Thank you so much for listening to that conversation too, guys. Anthony Trucks. Awesome. Yeah, me and Anthony, before we got on the show, it wasn't about selling anything, moving into a specific direction. So we just had a great conversation where we could share, learn, and just grow deeper into conversation and all together. And so just take this with you as you are entering any space and look at it from that lens. And like I said, this is great for podcasting, yet the truth is, this is great for life and all things that you're trying to do and accomplish. Oftentimes, it's who we need to be, and then we understand very clearly what we need to do. What a lot of times happens is we fall victim to the trap of what we're doing and not who we need to be to do it. Because if I'm centered in being an interviewer, a journalist, what I do is actually quite easy to know and understand. Yet, if I skip that step and not sure about who I need to be, I often do not know what I need to do. And so much time comes into overdoing and doing and doing, yet having a plan and knowing who you need to be will then architect what you need to do quite easily. That's what I have for you guys this week. It's simple, yet what I feel is very paramount wisdom in connecting, growing as a podcaster, growing as a human being, and growing as a connector in this whole entire world. So please take this with you. If you have any questions, please be open with us. Text, call, slip into the DMs. I heard someone tell me to say that the other day, slip into the DMs, whatever you need to do to really learn and understand this concept, because the quality of your shows, the quality of your relationships all stem from this first part. Because if we are not able to spend quality time with someone and do this, every part of your life will suffer, including your own. Have a great week, Winjet community. Please let us know how we're doing with these shows. And when I say let us know, I'd like feedback, not flattery. Although I do enjoy a bit of flattery, who the hell doesn't? Yet, please let us know if you have questions on this. Let me know if the way I'm presenting things lands well for you. Let me know if I could be doing things in a better way, because my goal in life is to serve. My purpose in life is to serve, and the Winjet community is one way that I serve. And so please allow me the chance to be of service, and allow me to get some, or present me with feedback so I could present a better service. I promise I won't let you down. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Cast is brought to you by Wincheck Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you there.